John Edwards for Griffin's TV alongside head baseball coach Scott Brown. And Coach, I appreciate a few minutes of your time during this unusual set of circumstances.
No problem, John. Glad to be with you today.
Coach, it's I know that you, I'm sure, like everybody else, completely disappointed about how this season's taken place. And from your perspective as a coach, how has this time been for you to reflect on the fact that you're not going to have a season at this point?
John, it is, I'm sure like with most coaches, all coaches, it's been a struggle. The one thing with this class is that they put a lot of work in the off season as far as preparing for this upcoming season. And honestly, as I've been telling a lot of people, this class really had a chance to be as special as the one 2 years ago. They were really coming together. There was pieces that were falling into place, and it was just one of those things where um, they really did have a chance. And so I really feel bad for them, especially the seniors, just the fact that they won't have a chance to go out there and show people how good they could be. I know that the week that we had of tryouts / first week of practice was a lot of fun, because the one thing I saw was I saw some of that talent coming through, some people that were stepping up like I was expecting and hoping them to, and just how much fun they were having together, which was really just really nice to see.
Pretty much you were coming back with almost an identical team that you had last year, a couple wins away from going to the state Final Four. And in a
One win away.
way, yeah, one win away. But I say
Try to
two.
think of it, not that I remember it.
No, hey, to me, I watched. I was there for all of it, all the way to the end, over at out in O'Fallon, and I felt that if you got past Marquette, you were winning it again. You would have been a two-time champion in a row. And but you had a pretty a veteran team that was going to come back again this year, and they were poised to make that run again. Once again, your pitching was there, your fielding was going to be as solid is this year as it was last year. And what's you've had a chance, I'm sure, to talk to some of these students, and what's been their mindset since the end?
You know, Obviously they're all down. They're all bummed out. They really were looking forward to this year coming up. I mean, you talk about last year and how many people we had back, and that was motivation. But you have to understand that there was roughly 6 of them that actually played a significant role when they were sophomores on the state championship team. So it was one of those things where there were a lot of people that had that experience and were really anxious to get back and show that that they could do it. And it wasn't just the team from 2 years ago, but they could do it as well too. And it was their senior class that had the ability to do something like that. And like I said, they're disappointed, rightfully so. You can look at the NCAA guys, and they have a chance to come back. I mean, I know not all of them will, but they at least have an opportunity to. But for us, that's it. I mean, there is no chance to come back for these seniors. So it was, one chance and show what you can do. And they're as disappointed as I am, if not more so.
We talked about the fact that you're a pretty veteran-led squad. You would have been a pretty veteran-led squad this year, and a really good year of signings for the baseball team moving forward into college.
We had 8 of them, and then we have 3 juniors who've actually, 2 juniors that have actually committed, but there's another one that will commit shortly, I'm sure, if he decides to. And so it was there. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a chance to. I think there's still another one that's going to have an opportunity to play if he would like to. But there's also a couple guys that may have had a chance to sign if they really wanted to, if they would have had a good senior year. So it was one of those things where it was a veteran group. It was one that was very talented, and the nice thing is, at least for the majority of them, their careers are not done. They're going to be able to move on and play next year in college.
How many has this been the largest year of signees for you?
No, actually 2 years ago we had 14, and that was the largest one I ever had. It's amazing that my first 5 years here, we were every year it was between 8 and 10. It was 8 of them. And so we've been really fortunate since I've been here to have a lot of really talented players come through. And the 8 that we have this year honestly is sort of an average of what we've been doing, and that says a lot about these kids, about what they put into it, not only during our season but in the off seasons as well, in the summertime. So we have a very dedicated group of kids that make up Vianney baseball, and we talk a lot about that, about the tradition of it, and how they are here to uphold that tradition while they're here. And the fruits of their labor come out. And like I said, 8 of them this year is a great number. I know that that's a lot more than most schools will ever have. And but for us, it's sort of been the norm, which is nice.
Some of the kids who didn't get an opportunity to play this year, you'll get a chance to see them because they're going to stay local and play college baseball either at Umsel or Maryville.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan Beaton's going to be at Maryville. Got Andrew Bisher, who's going to be up at Quincy, so they play in town quite a bit. Dan Burns just signed the other day, and he was one that I knew was going to have an opportunity to, if he was able to play this year. That was good. He's going to be at Illinois College. They come down this way. Mitch Green's going to be at Umsel, and Mitch is one that I was really, really looking forward to. It was, God, the kid just always has a smile on his face, always works so hard. And, the stuff that I saw that first week of him during inter squads was really, things were starting to fall in place for him. So I really feel bad not to be able to see him, but he'll be at Umsel. CJ is going to be, Spicky will be at Mizzou, just to name a few of them. So there's going to be a lot of kids that are local that you'll be able to see, but, people like Devin Ward, who's going to go out to Marshall, that's going to be a little bit harder to see him, but you'll be able to catch him on the internet and watch that. So.
I was just going to say, I don't think there's a time once baseball season in which you don't try to catch up with one of your former student athletes where you're not watching a game of theirs for a couple innings just to see what they're doing.
I try to follow them. It gets really hard when we get in the middle of our season. I really follow them usually once the college season starts. People like Luke Mann, Andrew Keck, Noah Nisling, all those guys, Brennan May, as good as he's been doing over at Webster. I follow those guys, especially at the early part. And then just, here and there, I'll catch up with them during the season as well, too. I really, I follow a lot of them on Twitter to see how they're doing, or at least their college teams, to see how things are going for them. And it's always nice to have the alums and see the success they're having.
But not only did the alums have success with you, but they're starting to have some of that success as they move on to college. Talk about some of that as they come back and they still talk to some of your baseball athletes.
Well, I think that's why we've been very fortunate to be in the position that we're in, as far as the number of kids that we have on a regular basis going to college, is they see the kids who have come before them. They see what they had to put into it. They see what they do when they come back. And it's nice to have them come back, going back to the Ryan and Nolan Snyders, when they were playing for us, and they would always come back. Heck, Nolan was here, over Christmas lifting with us again too. Luke Mann's always up here lifting. And so they see what it takes for them to play at the next level. And our guys, when they come back, are always very open to talk to them. And so the guys here, when they look at what we sort of expect of them, demand of them, as far as the work to put in, they realize that it's not just because it's something we want to do, but it's because of what it's going to be expected of them as they move on, and what you have to do. I once heard a college coach say, "Hey, don't tell me how hard you work, because that's expected." But to see what that hard work looks like, what you have to do, how it has to be really focused, that's the things that is really good for our current players.
Usually at this time of the year, you're out on the field. It's one of those busiest times of the year for you. Outside of the administrative work, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy, since you don't have to be out on the field coaching the team this year?
It's nice to have both my boys here. I still, because the one Matt plays for the Gateway Grizzlies, still been at times trying to find ways to throw batting practice to him. He's still chomping at the bit to make sure he stays ready for his season. My younger son, Chris, who just got done with hockey at Missouri State, he's been working out quite a bit. So I try to still work out with him in our makeshift weight room that we have in our garage. And I actually, we have a couple stationary bikes, spinning bikes in the garage that I've been using quite a bit too. So just trying to stay busy. Been watching some Criminal Minds and just got finished with season 3 of Ozark. So, you know, anybody that wants that's finished that would like to sort of chat back and forth about Ozark 3 and what hopefully will come in Ozark 4, hey, go ahead and give me a text.
So in talking with Terry Cochran, the athletic director, the other day, one of the things we had talked about was the fact that the locker room, weight room area is going to be expanded. Did you have anything to do with that? Because you're a constant in the weight room.
They asked me for input, which I was happy. But Terry asked all the coaches. He wanted to make sure it's for everybody. It's not just for the baseball; it's for all the sports. And so he was trying to. He did a good job of getting input from all the coaches of what they would like to see, and then from there coming up with what's hopefully going to be the best for everybody. So it's you know, yeah, it was nice to be able to give some input on that, but in the end, it's for everybody. So it's making sure that we have things that everybody can use.
I
But I'm
really
excited.
wasn't. I really wasn't talking about the team. I was talking about you personally because you're always in there working out yourself.
You guys set a good example. It's if I've always told them, when I put expectations down for what they should be doing, I think it's important that I do it as well too. So it's fun to get in there. It's whether it's with my two boys or whether it's with the baseball team or whether it's the alums that come back. It's always nice to get in there and live with them. And, sometimes I'm a little stronger than them. Sometimes they're a little stronger than I am, but it's just fun to get in there and the camaraderie that you build.